Howdy ho, what's up? Hope everyone is doing well right now. Hope everyone's doing a-okay. I know not everyone's doing well right now, but we all need to be doing partially well at any given moment. I want everyone to be doing their best, but I know sometimes that's... I hope everyone's doing okay. Hello, my name is Best of Fortune. Bad of Fortune, what's your fate? I forgot to introduce myself again. Hello, hi, hello. Hi, howdy ho, what's up? But tonight we are back to Dracula. I'm back to hopefully streaming 4 days a week, maybe 5, who knows. But I'm glad everyone's doing okay. I'm glad. Guys, you don't know how much I miss you guys. You don't understand. Those days I didn't stream were killing me. Like, listen. I went without streaming, and I was like a fish without water. All the best for thank you, Greykles. Also, 20 streams, wow. But I am doing a-okay now. Seems that both Mama Bat and Niece Bat are feeling better. Who knows? Yeah, Silver, I know you're always here. And that's what matters. I know. I felt in my channel points. Where is it? Oh, it's over here. I don't know. You know what? I should know. We're probably going to be playing Hollow Knight, some more Roots Devour, Persona 4 if I feel up to it, and probably something else. I'm not sure. Oh wait, it is February, so that does mean it's time for the monthly indie night. Yes, I noticed you put your own stream notification in your own stream promo. Do you remember all the other promos? Oh shit, wait. Did I put in my own promo channel? Oh no. I'm deleting that out of embarrassment. I'm deleting that out of embarrassment. Shh, nobody on it. Yeah, like, I was going through... Yeah, this shows you how ADHD has struck me. I am promoting in my own channel. I'm promoting myself in my own Discord. Despite the fact I had a fucking announcement about it earlier. Guys, the undiagnosed, whatever the fuck I got going on, is strong. The undiagnosed, what the fuck, is strong. Getting salutations and furthermore, jalapeno poppers. As you want to know what snacks I was eating while a big old football game played? Jalapeno poppers. As you know, if I watched said football game, no, I just want an excuse to eat jalapeno poppers. Everyone else, hi, hello. Hello, X-Man, how are you tonight? I also love jalapeno poppers. And yeah, I've been watching Ace play Virtue's Last Word. However, I actually have played the game before myself, so I actually know everything that's going on. And it's been very wild just to see Ace go on the rampant corkboard spree. Somewhere from the deli, someone made myself, I wrapped them in bacon, they were epic. Yum. I was watching YouTube shorts earlier and they made this bread just engorged with cheese. They filled this bread to the top with cheese. I was like, I need that in my life. But like, I'm very glad I don't have sports crew here. I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum, but I don't watch the sports ball. I don't watch the sports ball. Like, honestly, if I were to watch the Super Bowl, it'd be for ads only. It'd be for the ads, or for the halftime show. I wouldn't actually watch the Superb Owl or actual football. I don't know what the fuck's going on. How does football look again? I can't bring myself to watch football anymore. It's too painful. CTE, it's too close to home these days. Understandable. I've just been... there's one point in my life I was excited about football for like 6 months. For me, I have never liked sports. It's one of those things where I was a geek in middle school and high school. And back then, I think it was you had to go... There was usually at least one football game that happened while you were at school, and you were forced to go watch that. Like, there was one football game that would happen during school hours, and you'd be forced to watch that. And, my high school also every Friday played a fucking not every Friday, but every time there was a sports ball happening, but I think it was mostly during football season, they would play a song over the school speakers, and it drove me violently insane. It has driven me violently insane. So, I just associate football with unfortunate torture maneuvers, torture tactics. So, I don't like sports. I like sports anime. I don't like sports. And why I like sports anime should be understandable. Mostly because the delivery of sports anime is way more interesting. It's like, oh hey, close-up of arms. Oh wow. Oh hey, homoerotic, homoeroticism, yay, between main characters, joy. And that's why I like this sports anime. A lot of people might call that queer baiting, but it's not really queer baiting when you have like zero female cast members. I could go into like a whole fucking I don't want to, but I could go into a whole thing about queer baiting right now, but I won't. I have shit to do. We have shit to do, and none of it needs to be spent on what is and what is not queer baiting. But I'm glad everyone's having fun tonight. I also know the big sports, the Olympics, is happening. I'm not sure about anyone else, but does it feel like the Olympics happen every year now? I know they're not happening every year, but it feels like every year they're on. Yeah, you don't watch football, the sport where grown men slap each other on the bum. To be fair, you don't always get that. It's like a microsecond. It's like a microcosm in like 14 hours of pure torture. It's like eating a 5-course meal of shit to like have really good crackers. It's like eating a 5-course meal just to say, ooh, these crackers are numbers. No. Used to be super excited about soccer, but I'm now really jaded with the money bullshit of all. Just want to watch the guys run around kick the ball. The only sport I'd say I'm interested in getting into is maybe ice skating, but that's only because of the artisticness of it. Only ice skating, really. Also, bacon-wrapped jalapeno poppers sounds so delish, RX. I'm so jelly. We had roast today. I didn't cook it. I would honestly cook more, but it's just like... It's such a pain in the ass with everyone in this fucking house. Because, like, everyone either has texture it wants or specific foods that they don't want to eat anymore. And it's just like, I don't want to cook for that. It's like, every time I'm, like, it's like, hey, cook whatever you want. No, that's a lie. I don't cook whatever I want. I'm going to cook what I'm told to cook. So I just want someone to pick it out for me, and I will do it for you. There's no point in me cooking whatever I want, you know? Like, I would even fry them for you if you want. Oh, thank God. I would totally love that. Honestly, if you just let me into your kitchen, I would cook for myself. I would cook for anyone, honestly. I actually like cooking, it's just the amount of... It's just that I'm kind of tired of cooking the same things over and over again. But I'll still cook. I just need to be asked. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go into a mini rant, but it's kind of like, you know... It's kind of like, you know, everyone has their issues with their family or whatever. I want to be a good host for my mom, and you can't ever come to my place before I start feeding you. And if you have lower leagues in your area, it can still be a fun outing without the family or fake drama. I learned it from her. Yeah, I am very much, first thing you do if you come into my house is I will ask you if you want a drink. I will ask you if you want a drink, if you want a snack. If you're not staying for a while, I'm like, do you want anything? I'll mention, we have parts of my mom's family come over, they usually tend to bring something like, one of my uncles, he tends to bring over sodas sometimes when he comes over. How he doesn't come over a lot, because I think he's realized, like, whenever he usually comes over, my parents tend to be out. The parent bats tend to be out. But first thing I do whenever someone comes over is offer a drink. So, like, good hosting, very, very much in the family. It's like you need food, you need drink, you need what do you need? What do you need? But yes, bigger sports on, and I'm glad that everyone has decided to come spend time with me. Just a bat reading Dracula. For the rest of the week, it looks like I'm gonna be mostly on my own. The rest of the week, I'm mostly on my own. We don't have Childhood Hearts until next week. We don't have, Comet Tales until next week. Don't know when the next Heroes of Heterodoxy is. We're still trying to figure that out, cause, shit's happening. And so, wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah. Next week is all my stuff. All the bad thing VTubers stream dating major football game and read Bomb Stoker literature. You are fooling my face. I think that no, there's probably other bad themed VTubers who read Dracula during sport. I'm the only one in real life boss hit Vicos, aka class scheduling. Also, hi, hello, Yuka. How are you tonight? Welcome in. Yeah, right now, sickness hit Ollie, so that's why there was no Comet Tales this week. And yeah, Vicos was hit with class scheduling, which means the regular boss of D&D scheduling. Oh wait, this Saturday I'm not free because we have Valentine's Day plans to play more Magic the Gathering. So let's see here. I will. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. My schedule just figured it out itself. Yeah. We might be streaming for most of the week because I think I might take Friday off and spend it over on Ryuga's channel so I can fucking actually do my job of modding. Oh my god, I'm a mod? And so I can actually also have 2 days off in a row. Love you guys. Love you guys. But I really need to... I really need to adjust how I stream. Especially if I'm gonna start streaming 5 days a week. New donation from Sports Ball. He's working on MSQ today. Beat the Earth Fiend. Scar me whatever. Yes, that's how we all pronounce it. Scar me whatever. Scarmilione. Get hyped for Sports Ball. Everyone should watch Sports Ball. You also get to eat jalapeno poppers. Sports. The only thing I really like about sports is maybe dumb himbo jock archetypes. I was trying to say jock jock archetype. Words are hard. Jark. The jock archetype. Jark. The jocularity. Sports Ball has broken Vesper. Listen. The only time I have ever cared about sports is Blitzball. Well, maybe I kind of cared about volleyball a little. Hi, hello, Ellie. Illustrates. Eli Illustrates. Yeah. Wait, I was like, wait, is this angelic or is this Illustrates? Eli Illustrates, guy, and thank you for saying I'm so cute. I'm not normally a bat, but I've been, well, it's kind of normal now. And thank you, RX, for the gift sub to Ellie. I mean, Eli, I'm sorry. Hello, thank you. Oh, forgot to unmute that. My bad. And welcome back, Tavra. Hello. But how'd you find me, Eli? How are you tonight? And thank you. I am normally Silver. Silver. I think I'm gonna have to actually get a new bat model. I think I'm just going to become a bat now. Scrolling through the writing category. Thank you. We haven't really gotten to the reading part yet, but oh, that is the tarot card. Normally I'm a person, but we're kind of like 5 months removed from the last time I used my person model. We're about 5 months removed from the last time I actually used any personage. This is normally what I look like, but right now I'm a bat. But thank you for saying cute. Don't worry, I am now plotting to get another Batball that's explicitly my own, I think, because I am totally in love with this one. Batman. Batman. He decided to try out shape-shifting. Now he's looking how to change back. Exactly. I have to finish up. I have a lot to do, basically, but thank you, Eli. Also, let me see. Oh, that is a nice profile picture. Hold up. Hello, let me look at this art. Okay, you don't stream, but that's alright. Welcome in. We are actually about to start the reading and writing. Well, the reading, not the writing. Okay, look. Let me. Okay, we have to go back. We have to go to our favorite girl. I have to go to Dracula's ambience girl. Okay, that's a bit loud in my ears. Hold up. Okay, hold up. Okay, story night, Dracula's castle. Dracula. We have not started Dracula's chamber. We obviously need to start Dracula's chamber. Yeah, yep. Hey, no, I don't want that to be a side-by-side. Oh, no. I swear, I'm a professional. Oh, why did that squish everything? Hold up. Okay, that's mostly better. Okay, turn this down just a little below my speaking volume. Okay, while I look for my... Let me do a little recap. Van Helsing doing shit again, as Van Helsing do. If I remember correctly, they went to actually make doubly sure Lucy is a vampire. And they did that. However, Lucy is a special vampire because she was turned while she was sleepwalking. So she does not appear as a vampire while she's in her crypt, while she's asleep. And right now, we are currently on chapter 17. Oh wow, we don't have that many more chapters. We have chapter 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So, chapter 17. But yes, now Van Helsing is currently taking it wants Arthur. I was going to make a sodium pun, but I was like, nah. Then I thought about making a potassium pun, and I was like, hey. Pungent. 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 And also, while all this is happening, basically Jonathan has basically had his worst fears confirmed, but that has made him happy, because now he knows, oh, I'm not mental, I'm not insane. There is something wrong with the Count, but now I had to go and deal with that. And now Mina is also part of that. And now we're getting the gangbusters together. We're getting together Marvel's Avengers. Only it's about all the people who know Lucy / have been wronged by Dracula. And again, I just marvel at how the story almost doesn't even feel like it's about Dracula. It feels like it's about Lucy, who has been affected by Dracula. What this story isn't about Dracula, it's about the FEMA disaster relief that has been found around Lucy. Anyways, chapter 17, Dr. Seward's diary, continued. When we arrived at the Berkeley Hotel, Van Helsing found a telegram waiting for him. I'm coming up by train. Jonathan at Whitby. Important news. Mina Harker. The professor was delighted. Ah, that wonderful Mina, he said. Pearl among women. She arrived, but I cannot stay. She must go to your house, friend John. You must meet her at the station. Telegraph her en route, so that she may be prepared. Now I was dispatched. He had a cup of tea. He told me of a diary kept by Jonathan Harker when abroad, and gave me a typewritten copy of it, as also Mrs. Harker's diary at Whitby. Take these, he said, and study them well. When I return, you will be a master of all the facts, and we can then better enter on our inquisition. Keep them safe, for there is in them much of treasure. You'll need all your faith, even you who have such an experience of that today. What is here told? He laid his hand heavily and gravely on the packet of papers as he spoke. Maybe the beginning of the end, to you and me and many other. Well, it may sound the knell of the undead who walk the earth. Read all, I pray you, with the open mind. And if you can add in any way to the story here, it's all to do so, for it is all important. You have kept diary of these so strange things, is it not? Yes, then we shall go through all these together when we meet. He then ready for his departure, and shortly after drove off to Liverpool Street. I took my way to Paddington, where I arrived about 15 minutes before the train came in. The crowd melted away after bustling fashion common to arrival platforms. I was beginning to feel uneasy, lest I might miss my guess, when a sweet-faced, dainty-looking girl stepped up to me, and after a quick glance said, "Dr. Seward, is it not?" "And you are Miss Harker," I answered once, whereupon she held out her hand. I knew you from the description of poor dear Lucy, but..." She stopped suddenly, and a quick blush overspread her face. The blush that was to my own cheek somehow set us both at ease, for it was a tacit answer to her own. I got her luggage, which included a typewriter, and we took the underground to Fenchurch Street, after I had sent a wire to my housekeeper to have a sitting room and bedroom prepared at once for Mrs. Harker. In due time we arrived. She knew, of course, that the place was a lunatic asylum. I could see that she was unable to repress a shudder when we entered. She told me that if she might, she would come presently to my study, as she had much to say. So here I am finishing my entry in my phonograph diary whilst I await her. As yet, I have not had the chance of looking at the papers which Van Helsing left with me. Though they lie open before me, I must get her interested in something, so that I may have an opportunity of reading them. She does not know how precious time is, or a task we have in hand. I must be careful not to frighten her. Here she is. And then it's like, Mina Harker's journal. Here she is. Enter Mina Harker's journal. "29th of September. After I had tired myself, I went down to Dr. Seward's study. At the door I paused a moment, for I thought I heard him talking with someone. As, however, he pressed me to be quick, I knocked at the door, and on his calling out, 'Come in,' I entered. To my intense surprise, there was no one with him. He was quite alone. On the table opposite him was what I knew at once from the description to be a phonograph. I had never seen one and was much interested. 'I hope I did not keep you waiting,' I said. 'I stayed at the door as I heard you talking, and thought there was someone with you.' 'Oh,' he replied with a smile, 'I was only entering my diary.' 'Your diary?' I asked him in surprise. 'Yes,' he answered. 'I keep it in this.' As he spoke, he laid his hand on the phonograph. I felt quite excited over it, and blurted out, 'Why, this beats even shorthand. May I hear it say something?' 'Certainly,' he replied with alacrity, and stood up to put in. Certainly, he replied with alacrity, and stood up to put it in train for speaking. Then he paused, and a troubled look overspread his face. 'The fact is,' he began awkwardly, 'I only keep my diary in it, and as it is almost entirely about my cases, it may be awkward. That is, I mean.' He stopped, and I tried to help him out of his embarrassment. 'You helped attend to dear Lucy at the end. Let me hear how she died. For all that I know of her, I shall be very grateful. She was very, very dear to me.' To my surprise, he answered, with a horror-struck look in his face, 'Tell you of her death, not for the wide world.' 'Why not?' I asked, for some grave, terrible feeling was coming over me. Again he paused. I could see that he was trying to invent an excuse. At length he stammered out, 'You see, I do not know how to pick out any particular part of the diary.' Even while he was speaking, an idea dawned upon him. He said with unconscious simplicity, in a different voice, with the naivete of a child, 'That is quite true, upon my honor, honest Indian.' I could not but smile, at which he grimaced. 'I gave away myself that time,' he said. 'But do you know that although I have kept the diary for months past, it never once struck me how I was going to find any particular part of it in case I wanted to look it up. By this time my mind was made up that the diary of a doctor who attended Lucy I have something to add to the sum of our knowledge of that terrible being, I said boldly. Then, Dr. Seward, you had better let me copy it out for you on my typewriter. He grew up to a positively deathly pallor as he said, No, not for all the world. I wouldn't let you know the terrible I wouldn't let you know that terrible story. That was terrible. My intuition was right. For a moment I thought, and as my eyes ranged the room, unconsciously looking for something or some opportunity to aid me, they lit on a great batch of typewriting on the table. His eyes caught the look in mine, and without his thinking, followed their direction. As they saw the parcel, he realized my meaning. You do not know me, I said. When you have read those papers, my own diary and my husband's also, which I have typed, you will know me better. I have not faltered in giving every thought of my own heart in this cause. Of course, you do not know me. Yet. And I must not expect you to trust me so far. He is certainly a man of noble nature. Poor dear Lucy was right about him. He stood up and opened a large drawer, in which were arranged in an order of number hollow cylinders of metal covered with dark wax, and said, You are quite right. I do not trust you because I did not know you. But I know you now, and let me say that I should have known you long ago. Now that Lucy told you of me, she told me of you too. May I make that atonement in my power? Take the cylinders and hear them. The first half dozen of them are personal to me, and they will not horrify you. Then you'll know me better. Dinner will be by then ready. In the meantime, I shall read over some of these documents. I shall be better able to understand certain things. He carried the phonograph himself to my sitting room and adjusted it for me. Now I shall learn something pleasant, I am sure. For it will tell me the other side of a true love episode, of which I know one side already. Well, let me stretch. Finished dinner. Now I'm crocheting a raccoon. Aww. I read that earlier, but I did not read it aloud. 29th of September. Dr. Seward's diary. I was so absorbed in that wonderful diary of Jonathan Harker and that other of his wife that I let the time run out without thinking. Mrs. Harker was not down when the maid came to announce dinner, so I said, She's possibly tired. Let dinner wait an hour. And I went on with my work. I had just finished Mrs. Harker's diary when she came in. She looked sweetly pretty, but very sad. And her eyes were flushed with crying. I'm not sure what that was for, but okay. It somehow moved me much. Of late I have had cause for tears, God knows, but the relief of them was denied me. Now the sight of those sweet eyes, bright with recent tears, went straight to my heart, so I said gently as I could, I greatly fear I have distressed you. Did it have to be for a reason? No, it doesn't. Oh no, not distress me, she replied. But I've been more touched than I... Hold up, refrain. Oh no, not distress me, she replied. But I have been more touched than I can say by your grief. That is a wonderful machine. That is cruelly true. Told me in its very tones the anguish of your heart. It's like a soul crying out to Almighty God. No one must hear them spoken ever again. See, I have tried to be useful. I have copied out the words on my typewriter, and none other need now hear your heart beat as I did. No one need ever know, shall ever... No one need ever know, shall ever know, I said in a low voice. She laid her hand on mine and said very gravely, Ah, but they must. Must, but why, I asked. Because it is part of the terrible story. A part of poor Lucy's death and all that led to it. Because in the struggle which we have before us to rid the earth of this terrible monster, must have all the knowledge and all the help which we can get. I think the cylinders which you gave me contain more than you intended me to know. But I can see that there are in your records so many... Hold up. I'm sorry, it's been a bit. It's been a bit since I read a thing. I can see that there are in your record many lights to this dark mystery. You will let me help, will you not? I know all up to a certain point, and I see already, though your diary only took me to 7th of September, how poor Lucy was beset, and how her terrible doom was being wrought out. Jonathan and I have been working day and night since Professor Van Helsing saw us. He has gone to Whitby to get more information. He will be here tomorrow to help us. We need no secrets amongst us. Working together and with absolute trust, we can surely be stronger than if some of us were in the dark. She looked at me so appealingly, at the same time manifested such courage and resolution in her bearing, that I gave in at once to her wishes. You shall, I said. Do as you like in the matter. God forgive me if I do wrong. There are terrible things yet to learn of, but if you have traveled so far on the road to poor Lucy's death, you will not be content, I know, to remain in the dark. Nay, the end, the very end, may give you a gleam of peace. Come, there is dinner. We must keep one another strong for what is before us. We have a cruel and dreadful task. When you have eaten, you shall learn the rest, and I shall answer any questions you ask. If there be anything which you do not understand, though it is imperative to us who were present. Mina Harker's Journal, 29th of September. After dinner, I came with Dr. Seward to his study. He brought back the phonograph from my room, and I took my typewriter, placed me in a comfortable chair, and arranged the phonograph so I could touch it without getting up. Showed me how to stop it in case I should want to pause. Then he very thoughtfully took a chair, with his back to me, so I might be free as possible. Began to read. I put the forked metal to my ears and listened. When the terrible story of Lucy's death and all that followed was done, I lay back in my chair, powerless. Fortunately, I am not of a fainting disposition. When Dr. Seward saw me, he jumped up with a horrified exclamation, and hurriedly taking a case ball from a cupboard, gave me some brandy, which in a few minutes somewhat restored me. My brain was all in a whirl, and only that there came through all the multitude of horrors, the holy ray of light that my dear, dear Lucy was at last at peace. Do not think I could have borne it without making a scene. It was all so wild and mysterious and strange that if I had not known Jonathan's experience in Transylvania, I could not have believed. As it was, I didn't know what to believe, and so got out of my difficulty by attending to something else. I took the cover off of my typewriter and said to Dr. Seward, Let me write all this out now. You must be ready for Dr. Van Helsing when he comes. I sent a telegram to Jonathan to come on here. He arrives in London from Whitby. And this manner dates everything. And I think if we get all of our material already, have every item put in chronological order, we shall have done much. You tell me that Lord Godalming and Mr. Morris are coming too. Let's be able to tell him when they come. He accordingly set the phonograph at a slow pace. I began to type right from the beginning of the 7th cylinder. I used manifold, and so took 3 copies of the diary. just as I had done with all the rest. It was late when I got through, but Dr. Sue went about his work of going his round of the patients. When I finished, he came back and sat near me reading, so I did not feel too lonely whilst they worked. How good and thoughtful he is. The world seems full of good men, even if there are monsters in it. Before I left him, I remember what Jonathan put in his diary of the professor's perturbation at reading something in the evening paper at the station at Exeter. So seeing that Dr. Seward kept his newspapers, I borrowed the files of the Westminster Gazette and the Pall Mall Gazette and took them to my room. I remember how much the Daily Graph and the Whitby Gazette, of which I have made cuttings, helped us to understand the terrible events at Whitby when Count Dracula landed. So I shall look through the evening papers since then. Perhaps I shall get some light. I am not sleepy, and the work will help me keep quiet. Okay, but can we just look at how everyone's like, brandy helps with everything. Brandy is the cure-all for everything. You're tired, brandy. Having a crisis, brandy. Have a fever, brandy. Hearing the voices, brandy. Got a vampire, brandy. I can get behind that. I mean, understandable. I haven't had brandy. Is it good? I wouldn't know. I probably asked that before. 30th September. It's okay. 30th of September. Mr. Harker arrived at 9 o'clock. Oh, this is Dr. Seward's diary, by the way. I should note that. Go to the doctor for anything and they give you cocaine. The 1800s were the best. Cocaine, opium, brandy. The holy trinity of 1800s cure-alls. Dr. Seward's diary, 30th September. Mr. Harker arrived at 9 o'clock. Got his wife's wire just before starting. He is uncommonly clever, if one can judge from his face, and full of energy. If this journal be true, and judging by one's own wonderful experiences it must be, he is also a man of great nerve. As going down to the vault a second time was a remarkable piece of daring. After reading his account of it, I was prepared to meet a good specimen of manhood, but hardly the quiet, businesslike gentleman who came here today. Manhood. Later. After lunch, Harker and his wife went back to their own room. As I passed a while ago, I heard the click of the typewriter. They are hard at it. Mrs. Harker says that they are knitting together in chronological order every scrap of evidence they have. Harker has got the letters between the consignee of the boxes at Whitby, the carriers in London who took charge of them. Now reading his wife's typescript of my diary. Wonder what they make out of it. Here it is. Strange that it never struck me that the very next house might be the Count's hiding place. Goodness knows that we had enough clues from the conduct of the patient Renfield. The bundle of letters relating to the purchase of the house were with the transcript. Oh, if only we had them earlier, we might have saved poor Lucy. Stop. That way madness lies. Harker has gone back, and is again collating his material. Says that by dinner time they will be able to show a whole connected narrative. Thinks that in the meantime I should see Renfield, as hitherto he has been sort of an index to the coming and going of the Count. Hardly see this yet. When I get the dates, I suppose I shall. A good thing that Mrs. Harker put my cylinders into type. We never could have found the dates otherwise. I found Renfield sitting placidly in his room with his hands folded, smiling benignly. At the moment, he seemed sane as anyone I ever saw. I sat down and talked with him on a lot of subjects, all of which he treated naturally. He then, of his own accord, spoke of going home, a subject he has never mentioned to my knowledge during his sojourn here. In fact, he spoke confidently of getting his discharge at once. I believe that had I not had the chat with Harker and read the letters and dates of his outburst, I should have been prepared to sign for him after a brief time of observation. As it is, I am darkly suspicious. All those outbreaks were in some way linked to the proximity of the Count. What then does this absolute content mean? Can it be that his instinct is satisfied as to the vampire's ultimate triumph? Stay. He is himself zoophagous. And in his wild ravings outside the chapel door of the deserted house, he always spoke of Master. This all seems confirmation of our idea. However, after a while, I came away. My friend is just a little too sane at present to make it safe to probe him too deep with questions. And I begin to think, and then, thinking is a problem. He's not allowed to think. So I came away. I mistrust these quiet moods of his, so I've given the attendant a hint to look closely after him, to have a straight waistcoat ready in case of need. I just gave my raccoon eyes. I think they're a tiny bit crooked. I'll roll the backstory on. And getting them back off to adjust the eyes would be a hassle. Ideal. Listen, he's a trash panda. He's allowed to look a little silly. Jonathan Hawker's journal. 29th of September, in train to London. I received Mr. Billington's courteous message that he would give me any information in his power. I thought it best to go down to Whitby and make on the spot such inquiries as I wanted. It is now my object to trace that horrid cargo of the Count's to its place in London. Later we may be able to deal with it. Billington Jr., a nice lad, met me at the station and brought me to his father's house. They had decided I must stay the night. They are hospitable with true Yorkshire hospitality, give a guest everything, and leave him free to do as he likes. They all knew that I was busy, that my stay was short, and Mr. Billington had ready in his office all the papers concerning the consignment of the boxes. It gave me almost a turn to see again one of the letters which I had seen on the Count's table before I knew of his diabolical plans. Everything had been carefully thought out, and done systematically and with precision. He seemed to have been prepared for every obstacle which might be placed by accident in the way of his intentions of being carried out. To use an Americanism, he had taken no chances, and the absolute accuracy which with his instructions were filled was simply the logical result of his care. I saw the invoice and took note of it. 50 cases of common earth, to be used for experimental purposes. Also the copy of the letter to Carter Peterson, and their reply. Both these papers I got copies. This was all the information Mr. Billington could give me, so I went down to the port and saw the Coast Guards, the custom officers, and the harbour master. They all had something to say of the strange entry of the ship, which is already taking place in its local tradition. But no one could add to the simple description, 50 cases of common earth. I then saw the station master, who kindly put me in communication with men who actually received the boxes. The tally was exact with the list. They had nothing to add except the boxes were main and mortal heavy, that shifting them was dry work. One of them added was hard lines that there wasn't any gentleman, such like yourself, squire, to show some sort of appreciation of their efforts in a liquid form. Another pertinent writer that the thirst had been generated was such that even the time which had elapsed had not completely allayed it. Needless to add, I took care before leaving to lift. forever and adequately their source of reproach. Okay, we have ads in 30, so I'm going to sip the rest of my tea. I know this is supposed to be a horror novel, but this feels more like a detective thriller at this point. Does anyone else feel like that? Does anyone else feel like this is not a horror novel, this is a detective thriller? Maybe a bit. Ah yes, we must put everything in chronological order. And figure out the exact timeline event. It's not like... that might be the Brandy talking. It feels like, you know... The horror was Jonathan being trapped in the castle, and then the events of Lucy's death. However, we're hitting the detective point. We're now with Detective Van Helsing, as he figures. Now we're here with all the detectives. Once again, it feels like the main character is still Lucy. It was horror, detective novel. We're jumping between horror and detective novel. And I'm going to go get my water real quick. I'll BRB. I am back. Ba-ba. I might be trying to do two things at once. The opposite of choice paralysis. Doing everything at once. I just poured the bulk dog food into the cat food container. I guess Ian will now get random to use some cat food kibbles now and then, since I decided to pour it all into the dog food container. Get that crunchy, necessary cat calcium. He's not gonna have osteoporosis now. He's gonna be like the yogurt lady. Jane Fonda. Yeah, he's not gonna have osteoporosis like Jane Fonda. It's not like they don't eat each other's food anyway when you're not looking. Yeah. They don't. Ah, okay. They don't actually eat each other's food? Okay. Oh, true. There's different tastes. He eats all his food at once and Ed is fed on her cat tower. Listen, Solar, it's A-okay. Sometimes, you know, we just have those days where we pour all the... Where we just do something wrong by accident. But you know what? Ian's gonna like the new treats. Ian's probably gonna like the new treats. Let me tell y'all, the amount of days... The amount of days where I have poured myself a nice bowl of cereal, and then I look in the fridge, and there's not enough milk for the bowl of cereal, and I have to pour the bowl of cereal back into the food, back into the container. It's been more than once. Damn, yeah, now I make sure there's always milk in the fridge before I make myself a bowl of cereal. You don't eat whole cereal, Jack. No! That's how you become a serial killer. If I want dry cereal, I'll have it as a snack. I like wet cereal is a meal. Dry cereal is a snack. That's how I feel. Wet cereal's a meal, dry cereal is a snack. I ate Cocoa Puffs with water once because I was out of milk. That was a mistake. I bet. I eat cereal too slowly to put milk on it. It becomes soggy before I can finish it. Don't like the texture. I'm very much a... I'm too lazy to chew type of person. Well, not too lazy to chew, but I'm very much a... I will like a cereal depending on how it is textured, dry, and wet. You see, you don't want cereal that tastes, that has a bad texture when soggy. So I'm also weird, and I really like, and I like Crave, and Crave gets really soggy really quickly. Peanut butter cup in Captain Crunch, and yeah, no, you're just destroying your mouth. It's like pizza, you know, you're going to burn the roof of your mouth a little bit with pizza. Yeah, it's kind of like just going to give you new mouth flesh. It's going to force you to grow new mouth flesh. That's what dry peanut butter Captain Crunch does to you. It makes you grow new mouth flesh, cause all that's gonna be gone. Your mouth gone. Your teeth in pain. Your taste buds non-existent. Eating glass. I come back and the first words I hear is mouth flesh. yeah, that great mouth flesh put around them jalapeno poppers. What do they call the insides of the mouth? What do they call the flesh? Well, not flesh, I guess, the semi-flesh? Question mark? I used to know the names of all the facial muscles. Oral mucosa? Hard and soft palate? Yeah, you're going to get a brand new palette with not soggy, Captain Crunch peanut butter. Though Captain Crunch in general is just a nice chewy glass normally. Good glass. Glass. It does live up to the crunch part of the name. I'm trying to trust the process with this raccoon pattern. Someone else came up with this pattern, I'm just following, but it's hard. Here with this next palette, I'll understand why people like sauerkraut. Nope. Kimchi maybe, but sauerkraut is going to be a never, in my opinion. Kimchi, yes. Sauerkraut, what the fuck? September, we're still on Jonathan Harker. The station master was good enough to give me a line to his old companion, the station master at King's Cross, so that when I arrived there in the morning, I was able to ask him about the arrival of the boxes. He too put me at once in communication with the proper officials. I saw that their tally was correct with the original. Hold on, wait. Have I? Yeah, ads ended a bit ago, probably. He too at once put me in communication with the proper officials. And I saw their tally was correct with the original invoice. Opportunities of crying and abnormal thirst had been there limited. A noble use of them had, however, been made. I again was compelled to deal with the result in an ex post facto manner. I hit pause on the pattern video of the stream decided above her at the same moment. It's like I paused. Don't you love it when that happens? Tapper is getting too powerful. Tapper grows with each pattern crocheted. Eventually, Tapper is going to be able to control the universe. Tapper and the Crocheted Universe coming out soon. From thence, I went on to Carter Patterson's central office, where I met with the utmost courtesy. They looked up the transaction in their daybook and letterbook, and at once telephoned to their King's Cross office for more details. By good fortune, the men who did the teaming were waiting for work, and the official at once sent them over, sending also by one of them the way bill and all the papers connected with the delivery of the box at Carfax. Here again, I found the tally agreeing exactly. The carrier's men were able to supplement the paucity of the written words with a few details. These were, I shortly found, connected almost solely with the dusty nature of the job, and the consequent thirst engendered in the operators. On my affording an opportunity, through the medium of the currency of the realm, of the allaying at a later period, this beneficial evil, one of the men remarked. I'm sorry, there's more words. I know this is a book, but y'all hear. That air rouse, Governor. is the rummiest I've ever been. The words I'm not wording. That here. That there house, Governor, is the rummiest I've ever been in. Blimey. It ain't been touched since 100 years. There's a dust that thick in the place that you might have slept on it without hurting your bones. And the place was that neglected that you might have smelled old Jerusalem in it. But the old chapel, that took the cake, it did. Me and my mate, we thought we wouldn't ever get out, cricking our lord. I wouldn't take less nor a quid a moment to stay there after dark. The rummiest I've ever been. That's what Dracula. That's what Bram Stoker wrote. I nearly said that's what Dracula wrote. Guys, Dracula wrote the book, I swear. He wrote it himself. What on earth? I know, this old English. This ye old bullshit is a time. Having been in the house, I could well believe him. If he knew what I know, he would, I think, have raised his terms. Of one thing I'm now satisfied that all the boxes which arrived at Whitby from Varna in the Demeter were safely deposited in the old chapel at Carfax. There should be 50 of them there, unless any have since been removed, as from Dr. Seward's diary, as I fear. I shall try to see the carter who took away the boxes from Carfax and Renfield attacked them. By following up this clue, we may learn a good deal. Yeah, I thought we were doing Brandy. Later, Mia and I have worked all day and we have put all the papers in order. Okay, drink. Speaking of brandy and rum. Mina Harker's Journal. 30th September. I'm so glad that I hardly know how to contain myself. It is, I suppose, the reaction from the haunting fear which I have had. This terrible affair, and the reopening of his old wound, might act detrimentally on Jonathan. I saw him leave for Whitby with a brave face as I could. I was sick with apprehension. The effort has, however, done him good. He was never so resolute, never so strong, never so full of volcanic energy as at present. It is just as that dear, good Professor Van Helsing said. He is true grit. He improves under strain that would kill a weaker nature. He came back full of life and hope and determination. We have got everything in order for tonight. I feel myself quite wild with excitement. I suppose one ought to pity anything so hunted as is the Count. That is just it. This thing is not human, not even beast. To read Dr. Seward's account of poor Lucy's death, and what has followed, is enough to dry up the springs of pity in one's heart. Later. Lord Godalming and Mr. Morris arrived earlier than expected. Dr. Seward was out on business and had taken Jonathan with him. Sad to see them. It was to me a painful meeting, but brought back all poor dear Lucy's hopes of only a few months ago. Of course, they had heard Lucy speak of me. It seemed that Dr. Van Helsing, too, has been quite blowing my trumpet, as Mr. Morris expressed it. Poor fellows, neither of them is aware that I know all about the proposals they made to Lucy. They did not quite know what to say or do, as they were ignorant of the amount of my knowledge. So they had to keep on neutral subjects. However, I thought the matter over, came to the conclusion that the best thing I could do would be to post them in affairs right up to date. I knew from Dr. Seward's diary they had been at Lucy's death, real death, and that I need not to fear to betray any secret before the time. So I told them as well as I could. I read all the papers and diaries, and that my husband and I, having typewritten them, had just finished putting them in order. I gave them each a copy to read in the library, and Lord Goldeming got his and turned it over. It does make a pretty good pile, he said. Did you write all this, Mrs. Harker? I nodded and he went on. I don't see quite the drift of it, but you people are all so good and kind. You've been working so earnestly and so energetically that all I can do is accept your ideas blindfold and try to help you. I have one lesson already in accepting facts that should make a man humble to the last hour of his life. Besides, I know you love my poor dear Lucy. Here he turned and covered his face with his hands. I could hear the tears in his voice. Mr. Morris, with instinctive delicacy, just laid his hand for a moment on his shoulder, then walked quietly out of the room. Suppose there is something in woman's nature that makes a man free to break down before her and express his feelings on the tender or emotional side, without it feeling derogatory to his manhood. When Lord Goldeming found himself alone with me, he sat down on the sofa and gave way utterly and openly. I sat down beside him and took his hand. Hope he didn't think it forward of me, that if he ever thinks of it afterwards, he never will have such a thought. There I wronged him. I know he never will. He's too true a gentleman. I said to him, for I could see that his heart was breaking. I loved you, Lucy. I know what she was to you, and what you were to her. She and I were like sisters, and now she is gone. Will you not let me be like a sister to you in your trouble? I know what sores you have had. I cannot measure the depth of them. But sympathy and pity can help in your affliction. Will you let me be of some little service for Lucy's sake? In an instant, the poor dear fellow was overwhelmed with grief. It seemed to me that all he had of late been suffering in silence found a vent at once. He grew quite hysterical, and raising his open hands, beat his palms together in a perfect agony of grief. He stood up and then sat down again, and the tears ran down his cheeks. I felt an infinite pity for him, and opened my arms unthinkingly. With a sob, he laid his head on my shoulder and cried like a weary child, whilst he shook with emotion. We women have something of the mother in us that makes us rise above the smaller matters when the mother spirit is invoked. I felt this big, sorrowing man's head resting on me, as though it were that of the baby that may some day lie on my bosom, and stroked his hair as though he were my own child. Never thought at the time how strange it all was. After a little bit, his sobs ceased. He raised himself with an apology, though he made no disguise of his emotion. He told me that for days and nights past, weary days and sleepless nights, he had been able to speak with anyone, as a man must speak in his time of sorrow. There was no woman whose sympathy could be given to him, or with whom, owing to the terrible circumstances with which his sorrow was surrounded, he could speak freely. I know now how I suffered, he said as he dried his eyes. But I do not know even yet, and none other can ever know, how much your sweet sympathy has been to me today. I shall know better in time, and believe me in that. Though I am not ungrateful now, my gratitude will grow with my understanding. You will let me be like a brother, will you not? For all our lives, for dear Lucy's sake. For dear Lucy's sake, I said as we clasped hands. And for your own sake. Oh, and, for your own sake, he added. For a man's esteem and gratitude are ever worth their winning, and you have won mine today. If ever the future should bring you a time when you need a man's help, believe me, you will not call in vain. God grant that no such time ever come you to break the sunshine of your life. But if it should ever come, promise me that you will let me know. He He was so earnest, and his sorrow was so fresh, and I felt it would comfort him, so I said, I promise. As I came along the corridor, I saw Mr. Morris looking out of a window. He turned as he heard my footsteps. "I was alright," he said, then noticing my red eyes, he went on. "Ah, I see you've been comforting him. Poor fellow, he needs it. No one but a woman can help a man when he's in trouble of the heart. He has had no one to comfort him." Wow. Toxic masculinity in the ye old times of Dracula. He bore his own troubles so bravely that my heart bled for him. I saw the manuscript in his hand. I knew that when he read it, he would realize how much I knew, so I said to him, "I shall comfort all those who suffer from the heart. Will you let me be your friend? And will you come to me for comfort if you need it? You'll know later on why I speak." He saw that I was a nurse, and stooping, took my hand, raising it to his lips, kissed it. It seemed but poor comfort to so brave and unselfish a soul. In impulsivity, I bent over and kissed him. The tears rose in his eyes, and there was a momentary choking in his throat. He said calmly, "Little girl, you'll never regret that true-hearted kindness so long as you ever live." He went into the study to his friend. "Little girl." The very words he had used to Lucine. Oh, but he proved himself a friend. Toxic masculinity in the times of my Dracula? Only women can comfort men. Maybe you just need to try harder, man. Maybe you just need to try harder and be like an actual friend. Maybe that's what you need to do. I don't know about anyone else. But maybe some of y'all just need to get your shit together. Toxic masculinity in this economy? We barely have enough for the case of toxic yaoi. It's like, maybe y'all should stop being toxic masculine and be toxic yaoi. And they were roommates. I'm kind of getting the vibes from Arthur and Quincy, because they've been together since Lucy died. Maybe I'm not saying the polycule would have solved everything, but I feel it would have solved a lot. The polycule would have solved everything, but the polycule would have solved a lot. I mean, like, it seems that Quincy hasn't even left the continent. Quincy has been here this whole time. If you're not gonna say it, I will. Monogamy in the age of brandy and cocaine. You wanna know something that is quite weird? We're all hyped up on drugs. We're all hyped up on brandy, cocaine, and opium. But there's not polycules? There's not even closed polycules? What was wrong with the Victorians? What is wrong with the Victorians? That's fucking it. I am writing steampunk polycule alternate history London. There's not enough gay in London. There needs to be more. Okay. I'm just checking messages. Don't think you get hyped up on brand. The cocaine is the upper. The cocaine is the upper. The brandy and the opiums are the downers. You take the cocaine, and to get the hype, then you use the opium to take the edge off as you're coming down. And then you take brandy, just for fun. Were there coasters in the 1800s? Oh my god, there were coasters in the 1800s, I think. I think so. Chapter 18, Dr. Seuss. Those are kitty written things, oh god. The 1800s were wild. How did we live? Oh, I guess we were just popping out children because we needed workers. You know what? Understandable. Sheer determination. It was the cocaine and the opium. We weren't feeling pain. It was the cocaine and the opium. We just weren't feeling anything. Oh, I'm impaled? I don't even feel it. By having 13 kids and hoping Stu survived. That too. Is the cocaine, the opium, the brandy. They snorted powder on me. It was the drugs. Chapter 18, Dr. Seward's Diary. 30th September. Got home at 5 o'clock. Found that Goldeming and Morris had not only arrived, had already studied the transcript of the various diaries and letters which Harker and his wonderful wife had made and arranged. Harker had not yet returned from his visit to the carrier's men, of whom Dr. Hennessy had written to me. Mrs. Harker gave us a cup of tea. I can honestly say that, for the first time since I lived in it, this old house seemed like a home. When I had finished, Mrs. Harker said, Dr. Seward, may I ask a favor? I want to see a patient, Mr. Winfield. Do let me see him. What you have said of him in your diary interests me so much. She looked so appealing and so pretty I could not refuse her. And there was no possible reason why I should, so I took her with me. When I went into the room, I told the man that a lady would like to see him. To which he simply answered, why? If they took any more drugs, they could have made the letter people. No. The letter people was like, those were brand new drugs. Well, not brand new drugs, but I'm not sure if you could have taken more Victorian drugs and made the letter people. Consult Dr. Jack Daniels and Dr. Walker and Dr. Jim Bean. She's going through the house and wants to see everyone in it, I answered. Oh, very well, he said. Let her come in, by all means, but just wait a minute till I tidy up the place. His method of tidying was peculiar. He simply swallowed all the flyers and spires in the boxes before I could stop him. It's quite evident that he feared or was jealous of some interference. When he got through the disgusting task, he said cheerfully, Let the lady come in. and sat down on the edge of his bed with his head down, with his eyelids raised so he could see her as she entered. For a moment I thought that he might have some homicidal intent. Remember how quiet he had been just before he attacked me in my own study, and I took care to stand where I could seize him at once if he attempted to make a spring at her. She came into the room with an easy gracefulness, which would at once command the respect of any lunatic, for easiness is one of the qualities that mad people most respect. She walked over to him, smiling pleasantly, and held out her hand. "Good evening, Mr. Renfield," said she. "You see, I know you, for Dr. Seward has told me of you." He made no immediate reply, but eyed her all over intently, with a sad frown on his face. This look gave way to one of wonder, which merged into doubt. Then, to my intense astonishment, he said, "You're not the girl the doctor wanted to marry, are you?" "You can't be, you know, for she's dead," Mrs. Harker replied sweetly as she replied, "Oh no, I have a husband of my own, to whom I was married before I ever saw Dr. Seward, or he me. I am Mrs. Harker." "Then what are you doing here?" "My husband and I are staying on a visit with Dr. Seward." "Then don't stay." "Why not? I thought this style of conversation might not be pleasant to Mrs. Harker." "Oh, hold on. But why not?" "I thought this style of conversation might not be pleasant to Mrs. Harker any more than it was to me, so I joined in." "How did you know I wanted to marry anyone?" His reply was simply contemptuous, given in a pause which he turned his eyes from Mrs. Harker to me, instantly turning them back again. "What an asinine question." "I don't see that at all, Mr. Renfield," said Mrs. Harker, at once championing me. He replied to her with as much courtesy and respect as he had shown contempt to me. "You will understand, Mrs. Harker, that when a man is so loved and honored as our host is, everything regarding of him is of interest to our little community. Dr. Seward is loved not only by his household and his friends, but even by his patients, who, being some of them hardly in mental equilibrium, are apt to distort causes and effects. Since I myself have been an inmate of a lunatic asylum, I cannot but notice the sophistic tendencies of some of its inmates lean towards the errors of non causa and ignoratio elenchi." I positively opened my eyes at this new development. Here was my own pet lunatic, the most pronounced of his type that I had ever met with, talking elemental philosophy, and with the manner of a polished gentleman. I wondered if it was Mrs. Harker's presence which had touched some chord in his memory. If this new phase was spontaneous, or in any way due to her unconscious influence, she must have some rare gift or power. We continued to talk for some time. Seeing that he was seemingly quite reasonable, she ventured, looking at me questioningly as she began, to lead him to his favorite topic. I was again astonished, for he addressed himself to the question with the impartiality of the completest sanity. He even took himself as an example when he mentioned certain things. "Why, I myself am an instance of a man who had a strange belief. Indeed, it was no wonder that my friends were alarmed, and insisted on my being put under control. I used to fancy that life was positive and perpetual entity, and that by consuming a multitude of live things, no matter how low in the scale of creation, one might indefinitely prolong life. At times I held the belief so strongly that I actually tried to take human life. The doctor here will bear me out. On one occasion, I tried to kill him for the purpose of strengthening my vital powers by the assimilation with my own body of his life through the medium of his blood, relying, of course, upon the scriptural phrase, 'For blood is the life,' though, indeed, the vendor of a certain nostrum has vulgarized the truism to the very point of contempt. Isn't that true, Doctor?" I nodded assent, for I was so amazed I hardly knew what to either think or say. It's hard to imagine I had seen him eat up his spiders and flies not 5 minutes before. Looking at my watch, I saw that I should go to the station to meet Van Helsing. so I told Mrs. Harker that it was time to leave. She came at once, after saying pleasantly to Mr. Enfield, "Goodbye, and I hope I may see you often, under auspices pleasanter to yourself." To which, to my astonishment, he replied, "Goodbye, my dear. I pray God I may never see your sweet face again. May he bless you and keep you." When I went to the station to meet Van Helsing, I left the boys behind me. Poor Art seemed more cheerful than he has been since Lucy first took ill, and Quincy is more like his own bright self than he has been for many a long day. Van Helsing stepped from the carriage with eager nimbleness of a boy. He saw me at once and rushed up to me, saying, "Ah, friend John, how goes all? Well? So I have been busy, for I have come here to stay if need be. While fears are settled with me, I have much to tell. Madam Mina is with you?" "Yes." "And her so fine husband? And Arthur and my friend Quincy are there with you too? Good." As I drove to the house, I told him of what had passed, and of how my own diary had come to be of some use through Mrs. Harker's suggestion. At which the professor interrupted me. "Ah, that wonderful Madam Mina. She has a man's brain. A brain that a man should have were he much gifted, and a woman's heart. The good God fashioned her for a purpose, believe me. And he made that so good combination. Friend John, up to now, fortune has made that woman of help to us. After tonight, she must not have to do with this so terrible affair. It is not good that she run a risk so great. We men are determined, nay, we are not pledged to destroy this monster. But it is no part for a woman. Even if she not be harmed, her heart may fail her in so much, and in so many horrors. Hereafter she may suffer, both in waking, from her nerves and in sleep, and from her dreams. Besides, she is young woman, and not so long married. There may be other things to think of, some time, if not now. Tell me she has will all, then she must consult with us. But tomorrow she say goodbye to this work, and we go alone." I agreed heartily with him, and then I told him what we had found in his absence. The house which Dracula has bought was the very next one to my own. He was amazed, and a great concern seemed to come on him. "Oh, had we known it before," he said. "Well then, we might have reached him in time to save poor Lucy. However, the milk that is spilt cries not out afterwards, as you say. We shall not think of that, but go on our way to the end." And he fell into a silence that lasted until he entered my own gateway. Before he went to prepare for dinner, he said to Mrs. Harker, "I am told, Madam Mina, by my friend John, that you and your husband have put up in exact order all things that have been up to this moment." A man's brain stares off into the void an hour thinking about nothing. Relatable. Once again. Also, welcome in, whatever. Hello. Sorry, I'm stretching right now. How are you tonight, whatever? We are getting the gang together. The gang is officially together. We have everyone in the same lunatic asylum. Not up to this moment, Professor, she said impulsively, but up to this morning. But why not up to now? You have seen hitherto how good lie all little things have made. You have told our secrets, yet no one who has told is the worse for it. Mrs. Harker began to blush, and taking a paper from her pocket, she said, "Dr. Van Helsing, will you read this, and tell me if it must go in? It is my record of today. I too have seen the need of putting down at present everything, however trivial. But there is little in this except what is personal. Must it go in?" Professor read over it gravely and handed it back, saying, "It need not go in it if you do not wish it. I pray that it may. It can but make your husband love you more, and all of us, your friends, more honor you, as well as more esteem and love." She took it back with another blush and a bright smile. "And so, up to this very hour, all records we have are complete and in order. Professor took away one copy to study after dinner, before our meeting, which is fixed for 9 o'clock. The rest of us have already read everything. So when we meet in the study, we shall be informed as to the facts, and arrange our plan of battle with this terrible and mysterious enemy. Victorian Avengers, assemble!" 30th of September. Mina Harker's journal. When we met in Dr. Seward's study 2 hours after dinner, which had been at 6 o'clock, we unconsciously formed a sort of board or committee. Professor Harriet Van Helsing took the head of the table, to which Dr. Seward motioned him as he came into the room. He made me sit next to him on the right, and asked me to act as secretary. Jonathan sat next to me. Opposite us were Lord Goldeming, Dr. Seward, and Mr. Morris. Lord Goldeming being next to the professor, Dr. Seward in the center. The professor said, "I may, I suppose, take it that we are all acquainted with the facts that are in these papers." We all expressed assent, and he went on. "Then it were..." Oh, hold on, this was the professor This is the professor, my bad. I have to get out the professor voice. "There were, I think, good that I tell you something of the kind of enemy which we have to deal. I shall then make known to you something of the history of this man, which had been ascertained for me. So we then can discuss how we shall act, and can take our measure according. There are such beings as vampires. Some of us have evidence that they exist. Even had we not the proof of our own unhappy existence, the teaching and records of the past give proof enough for sane peoples. I admit at the first I was skeptic. Were it not that through the long years I have trained myself to keep an open mind, I could not have believed until such time as fact thunder on my ear. See, I prove, alas! Had I known first what I know now, nay, not even a guess at him, one so precious a life had been spared to many of us who did love her. But that is gone, and we must so work that other poor souls perish not whilst we can save. The Nosferatu do not die like the bee when he sting once. He is only stronger, and being stronger, have yet more power to work evil. This vampire which is amongst us is of himself so strong a person as 20 men. He is of cunning more than mortal, but his cunning be the growth of ages. He still have the aids of necromancy, which is, as his etymology imply, the divination by the dead. And all the dead that he can come nigh to are for him to command. He is brute, and more than brute. He is devil and callous, and the heart of him is not. He can, within limitations, appear at will, when and where, and in any of the forms that are to him. He can, within his range, direct the elements, the storm, the fog, the thunder. He can command all the meaner things, the rat and the owl and the bat, the moth, the fox and the wolf. He can grow and become small, and he can at times vanish and come unknown. How, then, are we to begin our strike to destroy him? How shall we find his where? And having found it, how can we destroy? My friends, this is much. It is a terrible task we undertake. There may be consequence to make the brave shudder. For if we fail in this, our fight, he must surely win. And then where end we? Life is nothings, I heed him not. But to fail here is not mere life or death. It's that we become as him. That we henceforth become foul things to the night like him. Without heart or conscience, hang on the bodies and souls of those we love best. To us forever are the gates of heaven shut. For who shall open them to us again? We go on for all time abhorred by all, a blot on the face of God's sunshine, an arrow in the side of him who died for man. But we are face to face with duty. In such case must we shrink. For me, I say no. But then I am old, and life, with his sunshine, his fair places, his song of birds, his music and his love, lie far behind. You others are young. Some have seen sorrow. There are fair days yet in store. What say you? Or does this mean Dracula can command you, Vesper? You're going to have to stick MC on Dracula, and I'm going to have to send his crates of earth to Luxembourg. According to my lore, I'm more of an imitation of a bat. Huh? Welcome in, Ace. Hello. For those of you who don't know me, hi. I'm Vesper. I'm the Bat of Fortune, Witch of Fate. And thank you for the shout out. Shout out, Silver. I am a variety VTuber and streamer. Tonight I am a bat. I'm fully bat, and we are reading Dracula. Hello. How was the rest of Virtue's last reward? When I left you, you were, let's see here. I think you were in the middle of... Quark was missing, and you were about to go through the doors. We died to antimatter bombs. Lovely. But I'm glad you're having fun with Richie's last reward. But welcome in, everyone who came from Ace's stream. Welcome in. Normally, I'm a hot dude. You can look at my hotness. Normally, I'm not a bat, but one day I will look like this again. But if anyone's all streamed out, please feel free to go rest, relax. Take this time to get a drink, get a snacky, get meds. Everyone, take your meds. Thank you for the headpants. Whooshy whooshy. And if you need to leave, I totally understand. Always a bet. One day I will have my lore out and everyone will know. That person, yeah. I have lore, but thank you for the raid, Ace. Everyone, please feel free to stick around if you want to. We are reading Dracula, or as I like to call it, the life and times of Lucy Westerna, who has been the main vehicle of the story. You came just in time. We have assembled the Victorian Avengers to kill Dracula, I think. The unlife and untimes of Lucy Westerna, basically. But everyone please feel free to rest, relax, get drinks, get snackies. This is a normal thing for me. Every Sunday we read something, or at least I'm hoping to continue this after Dracula. So if anyone wants to like continue on this journey of like reading classics and maybe not classics, who knows? I plan on continuing. But thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Ace, for the raid. And I will... Thank you for that, that's Pickles. Whilst he was speaking, Jonathan had taken my hand. I feared, oh so much, that the appalling nature of our danger was overcoming him. when I saw his hand stretch out. But it was life to me to feel its touch. So strong, so self-reliant, so resolute. A brave man's hand can speak for itself. Does not even need a woman's love to hear its music. Also, there's a little bit of sexism in Dracula. Don't get me wrong, though. It's 1800s, so just a little bit of sexism as a treat. Just a little. The professor had done speaking. My husband looked in my eyes and I in his. There was no need for speaking between us. I answer for Mina and myself, he said. Count me in, Professor, said Quincy Morris, laconically as usual. I am with you, said Lord Godalming, for Lucy's sake, if for no other reason. Dr. Seward simply nodded. The professor stood up, and after laying his golden crucifix on the table, held out his hand on either side. So I took his hand, and Lord Godalming took his left. Jonathan held my right with his left, and stretched across to Mr. Morris. So as we all took hands, our solemn compact was made. I felt my heart icy cold. That did not even occur to me to draw back. We resumed our places, and Dr. Van Helsing went on with a sort of cheerfulness, which showed that the serious work had begun. It was to be taken as gravely, and in as business-like a way, as any other transaction of life. My black yarn has a string that's made up of little pieces, using that as annoying. Oh, maybe I'll give a cute pattern to the tails and stuff. Well, you know what we have to contend against, but we too are not without strength. We have on our side the power of combination, a power denied to the vampire kind. We are the sources of science, we are free to act and think, and the hours of the day and night are ours equally. In fact, so far our powers extend, they are unfettered, and we are free to use them. We have self-devotion and cause, and an end to achieve which is not a selfish one. These things are much. Now let us see how far the general powers arrayed against us are restricted, and how the individual cannot. In fine, let us consider the limitations of the vampire in general, and of this one in particular. All we have to go upon are traditions and superstitions. These do not at the first appear much, when the matter is one of life and death, nay, of more than either life or death. Yet must we be satisfied, in the first place because we have to be. No other means is our control. And secondly, after all, these things, tradition and superstition, are everything. Does not the belief in vampire rest for others, though not, alas, for us, on them? A year ago, which of us would have received such a possibility in the midst of our scientific, skeptical, matter-of-fact 19th century? We even scour belief that we justified under our very eyes. Take it then, that the vampire and the belief in his limitations, his cure, rest for a moment on the same base. For, let me tell you, he is known everywhere that men have been. In old Greece, in old Rome, he flourished in Germany and all over. In France and India, even in the Cherno Seas, and in China. So far from us in all ways, there even is he, and the peoples fear him at this day. He have followed the wake of the Berserker Icelander, the devil-begotten Hun, the Slav, the Saxon, and the Magyar. So far then, we have all we may act upon. And let me tell you that very much of the beliefs are justified by that we have seen in our own unhappy experience. The vampire live on, and cannot die by mere passing of time. He can flourish when when that he can fed on the blood of the living. Even more, you have seen amongst us that he can that he can even grow younger, as vital faculties grow strenuous, and seem as though they refresh themselves when his special pabulum is plenty. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there as we have ad break starting in 30 seconds. Okay, now is a good time to get drinks, snacks. Stretches like I'm doing now. Check your messages if you aren't already. Okay, let's see here. Ba, 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 ba. Oh. Aww. Also, I just saw the sketch. That's so cute. Okay, now that there's ads, I will leave y'all to my BRB screen, and I will go get some water. Oh, I keep forgetting to mute. Y'all might be hearing like I love Raymond in the background when I leave. Or everybody loves Raymond. Oh my god, this is so cute. Saving. Putting into the fan art folder. And I will put that into the... Nah, I couldn't hear that. I just can't hear for shit either. Now my raccoon has two little purple feet. Oh. Oh, that drawing of Eden I did. He's so small and smug. I need to get more drawings of Eden. I love my little potato. I love my potato. Oh, that reminds me. If I'm going to send... I should send Eden over to... Aether on Friday and grab everyone's character data. I'm going to grab everyone's character data. I'm just gonna slurp it all up, and I'm gonna do some G poses. Excuse me. I'm going to steal your character for a moment. I had to stop playing for charity stream. I think my brain has reached its limit. Yeah. As Ursula K. Le Guin's schedule says, after 8 p.m. We don't talk about this time. I get too silly. I get too silly after 8 p.m. Ursula K. Le Guin does not work after 8 p.m. I've got the man brain. Stares into the void for hours. Considered playing today, but now I'm too tired. Understandable. Let me see how much book we have left. Well, not much book. How much, chapter. Oh, this big chapter. This big chapter. Oh, that's why it's a big chapter. I skipped over one whole last chapter. Alright, back to Dracula. But he cannot flourish without his diet. He eat not as others. Even friend Jonathan, who lived with him for weeks, never did see him to eat. Never. He throws no shadow. He make in the mirror no reflect. As again Jonathan observed. Has the strength of many of his hand. Witness again Jonathan, and he shut the door against the wolves. When he helped him from the diligence too, can transform himself to wolf, as we gather from the ship arrival in Whitby. When he tear open the dog, can be as a bat, as Madam Mina saw him on the window at Whitby. As friend John saw him fly down this so near house, as my friend Quincy saw him at the window of Miss Lucy, can come in myths which he can create. That noble ship's captain proved him of this. But from what we know, the distance he can make this mist is limited. It can only be round himself. He come on moonlit rays as elemental dust. As again, Jonathan saw those sisters in the castle of Dracula. He becomes so small. We ourselves saw Miss Lucy, ere she was at peace, slip through a hairbreadth space at the tomb door. He can, when once he find his way, come out from anything or into anything, no matter how close it be bound or fused up with fire. Solder, you call it. Can see in the dark, no small power this, in a world which is half shut from the light. Ah, but hear me through. He can do all these things, yet he is not free. Nay, he is even more prisoner than the slave of the galley, than the madman in his cell. He cannot go where he lists. He who is not of nature has yet to obey some of nature's laws. Why, we know not. He may not enter anywhere at the first, unless there be someone of the household who bid him to come. Though afterwards he can come as he please. His power ceases, as does that of all evil things, at the coming of the day. At certain times can he have limited freedom. If he is not at the place whither he is bound, he can only change himself at noon, or exact sunrise or sunset. These things we are told, and in this record of ours we have proof by inference. Thus whereas he can do as he will within his limit, when he have his earth home, his coffin home, his hell home, the place unhallowed, as we saw when he went to the grave of the suicide at Whitby. Still, at other time, he can only change when the time come. It's said, too, that he can only pass running water at the slack, at the flood of the tide. Then there Then there are things which are so afflict him he has no power, as the garlic that we know of. And as for things sacred as the symbol, my crucifix, that is amongst us even now when we resolve, to them he is nothing. But in their presence he take his place far off, and silent with respect. There are others too, which I shall tell you of, lest in our seeking we may need them. The branch of the wild rose on his coffin keep him, that he may not move from it. A sacred bullet fired into the coffin kill him, so that he may be true dead. As for the stake through him, we know already of its peace, or the cut-off head that giveth rest. We have seen it with our eyes. Ugh. Excuse me? I love men pectorals. That is a name. Thank you for joining the cauldron. I will do a care package. Welcome in. How did you find me, sir? And or ma'am. Thank you for the care package. Everyone else, also stretch if you want to. I saw your packs. This is all fur at the moment. But thank you all the same. Also drinky time. I must have pecs somewhere. I have a peck pic somewhere, I guess. Yeah, we're a little silly around here. Just a little sillies. But thank you. I guess chest out, everyone. Tits out for man pectorals. You can kind of see your pecs in the pic I'm drawing for you. True. True, I do have some pics where, like, I'm kind of peck out. Thank you, I love men pectorals, for the care package, and thank you for the follow. I also like to thank Eli earlier. I'm not sure if I thanked Eli earlier, but also thank you, Eli, for following as well. I'm pretty sure, I think I thanked Eli, but Eli, if you're still around, thank you, and I hope you're enjoying yourself. I don't know about a specific thank you. Okay, yeah. But thank you, Eli, and thank you. I shall call you men pectorals, as I feel that is most respectful to you. That's when we find the habitation of this man that was. We can confine him to his coffin and destroy him. We obey what we know, but he is clever. I have asked my friend Arminius of Budapest University to make his record, and from all means that are, tell me of what he has been. He must, indeed, have been that voivode Dracula who won his name against the Turk. Over the great river on the very frontier of Turkey land. If it be so, then he has no common man, for in that time and the centuries after, he was spoken of as the most cleverest and most cunning, as well as the bravest of the sons of the land beyond the forest. That mighty brain and that iron resolution went with him to his grave, and even are now arrayed against us. The Draculas are, says Arminius, a great and noble race. Though now and again were scions who were held by the coevals to have had dealings with the evil one. They learned his secrets in the Scholomance amongst the mountains over Lake Hermannstadt, where the devil claims the 10th scholar as his due. In the records are such words as Stregoica, witch or dog, and porkle, Satan and hell. In one manuscript, this very Dracula is spoken of as vampire. which we all understand too well. There have been from the loins of this very great man and good women, and their graves make sacred the earth where alone this foulness can dwell. For is not the least of its terrors that this evil thing is rooted deep in all good, and soil barren of holy memories that cannot rest. Whilst they were talking, Mr. Morris was looking steadily at the window, and now he got up quietly and went out of the room. There was a little pause, and the professor went on. "Oh no, where's he going? Where's our Red Quincy going?" And now we must sell what we do. We have here much data, and we must proceed to lay out our campaign. Know from the Inquirer Jonathan that from the castle to Whitby came 50 boxes of earth, all of which were delivered at Carfax. We also know that some of these boxes have been removed. It seems to me that our first step should be to ascertain whether all rest remain in the house beyond that wall, where we look today, or whether any more have been removed. If the latter, we must trace. Here we were interrupted in a very startling way. Outside the house came the sound of a pistol shot. The glass of the window was shattered with a bullet, which ricocheting from the top of the embrasure, struck the far wall of the room. I'm afraid I am, at heart, coward, for I shrieked out. The men all jumped to their feet. Lord Godalming flew over to the window and threw up the sash. As he did so, we heard Mr. Morris's voice without. "Sire, I fear I have alarmed you. I shall come in and tell you about it." A minute later, he came in and said, "It was an idiotic thing of me to do, and I must ask your pardon, Mrs. Harker, most sincerely. I fear I must have frightened you terribly. Fact is, whilst the professor was talking, there came a big bat and sat on the windowsill. I've got such a horror of the damn brutes from the recent events that I cannot stand them. I went out to have a shot, as I have been doing of late of evenings, whenever I have seen one. You used to laugh at me for it then, Art." "Did you hit it?" asked Dr. Van Helsing. "I don't know, I fancy not, for it flew away into the wood." Without saying any more, he took his seat and the professor began to resume his statement. "We must trace each of these boxes, and when we are ready, we must either capture or kill this monster in his lair, or we must, so to speak, sterilize the earth, so that no more he can seek safety in it. Thus, in the end, we may find him in his form of man between hours of noon and sunset, and so engage with him when he is at his most weak. And now for you, Madamina. This night is the end until all be well. You are too precious to us to have such risk. When we part tonight, you no more must question. We shall tell you all in good time. We are men and able to bear, but you must be our star and our hope, and we shall act all the more free that you are not in danger such as we are." All the men, even Jonathan, seemed relieved. But did not seem to me... All the men, even Jonathan, seemed relieved. But did not seem to me good that they should brave danger and perhaps lessen their safety. Strength being the best safety, through care of me. But their minds were made up, and though it was a bitter pill for me to swallow, I could say nothing, save accept their chivalrous care of me. Mr. Morris resumed the discussion. "As there is no time to lose, I vote we have a look at his house right now. Time is everything with him, and swift action on our part may save another victim." I own that my heart began to fail me when the time for action came so close. I did not say anything, but I had a greater fear that if I appeared as a drag or a hindrance to their work, they might even leave me out of their councils altogether. They have now gone off to Carfax, with means to get into the house. Manlike, they have told me to go to bed and sleep. as if a woman can sleep when those she loves are in danger. I shall lie down and pretend to sleep, lest Jonathan have added anxiety about me when he returns. Okay. Okay, we're in the last little bit. Dr. Seward's diary. 1st of October, 4 a.m. Just as we were about to leave the house, an urgent message was brought to me from Renfield, to know if I would see him at once, as he had something of the utmost importance to say to me. I told the messenger to say that I would attend to his wishes in the morning. I was busy at the moment. The attendant added, "He seems very importunate, sir. I've never seen him so eager. I don't know, but what? If you don't see him soon, he will have one of his violent fits." I knew the man would not have said this without some cause, so I said, "Alright, I will go now." I asked the others to wait a few minutes for me, as I had to go and see my patient. "Take me with you, friend John," said the professor. "His case in your diary interests me much, and had bearing too, now and again on our cause. I should much like to see him, and especially when his mind is disturbed." "May I come also?" asked Lord Goldeming. "Me too?" said Quincy Morris. "May I come?" said Harker. I nodded, and we all went down the passage together. May we all go to see the lunatic. To see the lunatic, the wonderful lunatic of the asylum. Turning into the Vesper Fortune radio for the ride home. Hope she was going well. Thank you, Vampy. It is going quite well, and I hope you drive safely. It is nice seeing you as always. We found him in a state of considerable excitement, but far more rational in his speech and manner than I had ever seen him. There was an unusual understanding of himself, which is unlike anything I had ever met within a lunatic. He took it for granted that his reasons would prevail with others entirely sane. We all four went into the room, but none of the others at first said anything. His request that I would at once release him from the asylum and send him home. This he backed up with arguments regarding his complete recovery, and adduced his own existing sanity. "I appeal to your friends," he said. "They will perhaps not mind sitting in judgment on my case." By the way, you have not introduced me. I was so much astonished at the oddness of introducing a madman in an asylum not strike me at the moment. Besides, there was a certain dignity in the man's manner, so much of the habit of equality, that at once I made the introduction. Lord Goldeming, Professor Van Helsing, Mr. Quincy Morris of Texas, Mr. Renfield. He shook hands with each of them, saying in turn, "Lord Goldeming, I have the honor of seconding your father at the Windtown. I grieve to know by your holding the title that he is no more. He was a man loved and honored by all who knew him, and in his youth was, I have heard, the inventor of a Burt rum punch, much patronized on the Burt Derby night. Mr. Morris, you should be proud of your great state. Its reception into the Union was a precedent, which may have far-reaching effects hereafter, when the pole in the tropics may hold alliance to the stars and the stripes. The Power Treaty may yet prove a vast engine of enlargement, and when the Monroe Doctrine takes its true place as a political fable. What shall any man say of his pleasure at meeting Van Helsing? Sir, I make no apology for dropping all forms of conventional prefix. An individual has revolutionary When an individual has revolutionized therapeutics by his discovery of the continuous evolution of brain matter, conventional forms are unfitting, since they would seem to limit him to one of a class. You, gentlemen, who by nationality, by hereditary, or by possession of natural gifts, are fitted to hold your respective places in the moving world. I take to witness that I am as sane as at least the majority of men who are in full possession of their liberties. And I am sure that to you, Dr. Seward, humanitarian and medico-jurist, as well as a scientist, will deem it moral duty to deal with me as one to be considered under exceptional circumstances. He made this last appeal with a courtly air of conviction, which is not without its own charm. I think we were all staggered. For my own part, I was under conviction, despite my knowledge of the man's character and history, and his reason had been restored. And I felt under a strong impulse to tell him that I was satisfied as to his sanity, would see about the necessary formalities for his release in the morning. I thought it better to wait, however, before making a grave statement, for of old I knew the sudden changes to which this particular patient was liable. So I contented myself with making a general statement that he appeared to be improving very rapidly, that I would have a longer chat with him in the morning, and would see then what I could do in the direction of meeting his wishes. This did not at all satisfy him, but he said quickly, I fear, Dr. Seward, that you hardly apprehend my wish. I desire to go at once, here, now, this very hour, this very moment, if I may. Time presses, and our implied agreement with the old Scytheman it is, of the essence of the contract. I am sure it is only necessary to put before so admirable a practitioner as Dr. Seward so simple, yet so momentous a wish to ensure its fulfillment. He looked at me keenly, and seeing the negative in my face, turned to the others and scrutinized them closely. Not meeting any sufficient response, he went on. Is it possible that I have erred in my supposition? You have, I said frankly, but at the same time I felt brutally. There was considerable pause, and then he said slowly, I suppose I must only shift my ground of request. Let me ask for this concession, boon, privilege, what you will. I am content to implore in such a case, not on personal grounds, but for the sake of others. I am not at liberty to give you the whole of my reasons, but you may, I assure you, take it from me that they are good ones, sound and unselfish, and spring from the higher sense of duty. Could you look, sir, into my heart? You would approve it to the full the sentiments which animate me. Nay more, count me amongst the best and truest of your friends. Again he looked at us all keenly. I had a growing conviction that this sudden change of his entire intellectual method was but yet another form or phase of his madness, and so determined to let him go on a little longer. Knowing from experience he would, like all lunatics, give himself away in the very end. Van Helsing was gazing at him with a look of utmost intensity, his bushy eyebrows almost meeting with the fixed concentration of his look. He said to Renfield in a tone which did not surprise me at the time, but only when I thought of it afterwards, for it was of addressing of an equal. Can you not tell frankly your real reason for wishing to be free tonight? I will undertake that, if you will satisfy even me, a stranger, without prejudice, and with the habit of keeping an open mind, Dr. Seward would give you, at his own risk, and on his own responsibility, the privilege you seek. He shook his head sadly, and with a look of poignant regret on his face, the professor went on. Come, sir, bethink yourself. You claim the privilege of reason in the highest degree, since you seek to impress us with your complete reasonableness. You do this, whose sanity we have reason to doubt, since you are not yet released from medical treatment for this very defect. If you will not help us in our efforts to choose the wisest course, how can we perform the duty which you yourself put upon us? Be wise and help us, and if we can, we shall aid you. We shall aid you to achieve your wish. He still shook his head, and he said, Dr. Van Helsing, I have nothing to say. Your argument is complete. If I were free to speak, I should not hesitate a moment. But I am not my own master in the matter. I can only ask you to trust me. If I refuse, the responsibility does not rest with me. I thought it was now time to end the scene, which was becoming too comically grave. So I went towards the door, saying, Come, my friends. You have work to do. Good night. It's funny how different Renfield is here to his equivalent in the Nosferatu Azures movie. He's all articulate here, and in the film he's a raving lunatic. Yeah, it's very wild to see the original versions of all these characters. Because I don't think I have seen a form of Van Helsing that is not like some absolutely grim, hunter of some sort. He's not a professor in most of what I've seen, though I mostly see like Van Helsing in manga and games and stuff. I haven't seen like a pure movie adaptation of Dracula. However, most people hear Van Helsing and associate that with badassery. But here he's just this funky little old guy. He's just this funky little scrunglow. He's just this funky old guy who's just... He's just a funky old guy with a vampire hyperfixation and, like, too many fucking degrees. To be fair, Renfield has had his raving lunatic moments, but he switches between lunatic and articulation very well. He's not just one thing or the other, he is both. He is a spectrum. As, however, I got near the door, a new change came over the patient. He moved towards me so quickly that, for the moment, I feared he was about to make another homicidal attack. My fears, however, were groundless, for he held up his two hands imploringly, and made his petition in a moving manner. As he saw the very excess of his emotion was militating against him, by restoring us more to our old relations, he became still more demonstrative. I glanced at Van Helsing, and saw my conviction reflected in his eyes, so I became a little more fixed in my manner, if not more stern, and motioned to him that his efforts were unavailing. I had previously seen something of the same constantly growing excitement in him when he had to make some request of which, at the time, he had thought much. Such, for instance, when he wanted a cat, I was prepared to see the collapse into the same sullen acquiescence on this occasion. My expectation, however, was not realized, when he found that his appeal would not be successful. He got into quite a frantic condition. He threw himself on his knees and held up his hands, wringing them in plaintive supplications, and poured forth a torrent of entreaty, with tears rolling down his cheeks, and his whole face and form expressive of deepest emotion. Let me entreat you, Dr. Seward. Oh, let me implore you to let me out of this house at once. Send me away how you will, and where you will. Send keepers with me, with whips and chains. Let them take me in a strait waistcoat, manacled and legged iron, even to a jail. but let me go out of this. You don't know what you do by keeping me here. I'm speaking from the depths of my heart, of my very soul. You do not know whom you wrong, or how, and I may not tell. Woe is me, I may not tell. By all you hold sacred, by all you hold dear, by your love that is lost, by your hope that lives, for the sake of the Almighty, take me out of this and save my soul from guilt. Can't you hear me, man? Can't you understand? Will you never learn? Don't you know how... Don't you know that I am sane and earnest now? That I am no lunatic in a mad fit, but a sane man fighting for his soul? Oh, hear me, let me go, let me go, let me go! I thought that the longer this went on, the wilder he would get, and so would bring on a fit. So I took him by the hand and raised him up. Come, I said sternly. No more of this. You have had quite enough already. Get to your bed and try to behave more discreetly. He suddenly stopped and looked at me intently for several moments. Then without a word he rose and moving over, sat down on the side of the bed. The collapse had come, as on former occasions, just as I had expected. When I was leaving the room, the last of our parties, he said to me in a quiet, well-bred voice, "You will, I trust, Dr. Seward, do me the justice to bear in mind, later on, that I did what I could to convince you tonight." Oh, hold on, let me reread that, because I fucked that up. Well, at least I messed up for myself. When I was leaving the room, last of our party, he said to me in a quiet, well-bred voice, "You will, I trust, Dr. Seward, do me the justice to bear in mind, later on, that I did what I could to convince you tonight." And now we are at chapter 19. Which I will copy. You will pause. Yeah, close these two tabs. And I will message myself. Also, thank you all for joining me for Dracula. Let me go. Me after a call goes on for too long. Yeah, he was over dramatic and he needs some brandy. I need to be moving on. Until next time, have a blast. Thank you, RX. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Also, thank you, RX, for the sub for Eli. Also, thank you, Eli and Men Pectorals, for following. So that was fun. We have assembled the Avengers. Also, sleep well and dream well, RX. Don't let the Draculas bite. We have assembled the Avengers. And we are now about to... We have a lot more chapters, so I don't think we're just gonna go kill Dracula. We're not just gonna go kill Dracula, everyone. I think next week we may read 3 chapters instead of the usual 2. We may read 3 chapters instead of the usual 2 just to, you know, get through this. Get through this a little faster. Not to mention, chapter 19 looked a little short. But I'm gonna be real. I feel like Mina is not gonna sit down and just be like, okay, I'm going to be a little hard at the party. I'm not gonna let myself get hurt. Because if I remember correctly, like, Mina is usually the person who takes a step in badassery. Whenever I see adaptations, though, those are modern adaptations. However, I could see Mina being like, no, fuck you, Dracula. I could see Mina being like, no, fuck you, Dracula. Fuck you, Dracula. I'm gonna stab you. Fuck you, Dracula. You hurt my husband. Die. Oh, I'm speaking more like Lucy, not fucking... Lucy is more Valley Girl. Lucy's more Valley Girl, though now Lucy's a goth. Now Lucy's a vampire, which means officially goth. And I don't think they actually... I don't think it's actually been officially said that. Dracula, that's 2026 internet culture. Oh no. I think they hinted at it. I don't think they explicitly, like, went over the events of killing Lucy. How I think they have I think basically they've killed Lucy. I think, like, everyone went over there and, like, no one's speaking of it. I guess because, like, they decided, oh, that's too much. That's too much for any of us to recount. We're just going to not talk about killing Lucy, which understandable. Did you see the old lady who curates the museum who led Newsline to make advertisements? Oh god. I'm sure she's having a wonderful time with 6-7. Just an old lady saying the swag of this play got all the over at the dinner parties. I hate that I read that. I hate that I read that. The swag of this aura. The swag of this play got all of the aura. And she delivers it. I bet you she says it so genuinely too. Like she actually believes it. Tickets are $67. Oh my god. But thank you all for joining me tonight. The swag of this. Haters say this urn is mid. It used to be 69, so that's a nice. Did it really need to be clipped twice? I guess. Raccoon picture. Ooh, raccoon picture. Raccoon. Raccoon. Oh my god. Oh my god, Silver posted it. Oh, that's such a cute raccoon. Hold on, that's so cute, Tapper. He's not done by one share. Absolutely adorable. Deserves all the cuddles. But let me go ahead. I'm kind of like... I kind of get why they don't want Mina. I mean... I don't want to say there's more inherent value in the life of a woman over a man. I mean, it's just the times, you know, women were special, but also, you know, sexism. But also, there is a point to say, like, you know, uh, you want the person to have who can have children to like continue on living back in those days, you know? Like you know, like she can have babies, she can continue, she can like have more children and have more vampire hunters. So like I'd rather let this one take a pass. Though I'm really hoping Mina is the one who gets in the stab. I'm kind of hoping Mina gets to be the one who stabs Dracula, not gonna lie. Okay. I don't feel like anyone... hold on, wait. Let me see if... You know what? We had someone come in from writing and reading. So let me see if there's anyone else who's doing... Oh, it's... I just immediately see myself. Oh no, I have to go. We have to go. I'm not being rated by this person again. Oh no. It's not like there was anything to do in the 1800s besides brandy, cocaine, and making babies. Overly sarcastic productions never said who delivered the final blow to Dracula, but she did say Mina Harker becomes a complete boss for the rest of the book. Nice. Let's raid Vetzer. Let's have raidception. I'll read another 2 chapters. We'll go forth in time. But I'm learning that one of the people who raided me, not Ace, but there was a raid a few weeks back of someone who is doing, this person is doing fucking Harry Potter reads, and I'm like, why did you raid me? I'm gay. Please stop. Never do that again. And I like just saw them again. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. We're not doing that. Okay, let's see here. Ah, dang, I'm like, you could have been a good person, but you read Harry Potter. You're reading Harry Potter in this day and age. If you were streaming from like back in the 90s, maybe. Who? Oh, hello. Wait, 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 wait. Neff. Thank you, Neff, for the follow. But I was just about to raid you. Inception. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm still gonna do it. No problem. I could raid Nia, but let's go ahead and raid enough for just just for that entire coincidence. Thanks for the company until stream, Vesper. No worries, no worries. I'm glad y'all enjoyed your time. I'm always happy to read for you guys. And every Sunday, chill stream for you guys. See y'all next time. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to do the outro. Good night. Good fortune. See you when I see you. Bye.